Welcome back to the Property Beat, where we are talking about Saddlebrook River Estates, an exciting new community in central Tennessee. And if you have questions or comments that you'd like to ask, simply call us at 347-989-0439.
So, Rocco, when people get out there, I mean, they're in the middle of nature, because I've been to that part of the United States, the Cumberland Gap area. It's gorgeous, absolutely breathtaking. So what are they surprised to find out when they hear your presentation and get to see these houses?
You know what I really think surprises them the most? And it's funny, I was just talking to my partner about this last night. My partner lives in Florida. His name is Magdiel Rodriguez. And I said to him, I said, you know what? What's really surprising people when they get here are two different things. Number one, as you guys just referred to, how gorgeous it is out here.
Yeah.
They've just four-laned the road that Saddlebrook River Estate is on. It's called Highway 111. And there's really, I know it's not like First Street or Second Street.
Because we were talking about earlier when we were off air, we were talking about the fact that, when you're in the country, everybody talks about everything like a freeway. It's like, it's like I'm down by 102,
Yeah. Well, the difference is, when we mentioned the freeway here, there's no traffic. I mean, we say to our clients, when we're driving to the community, I apologize for the traffic jam. There might be one car in front of you and two coming the other direction. So very little traffic. And then, of course, what gets everybody is the scent in the air, because you're in the woods. It's that pine scent, that tree. It just smells so
Boy,
clean.
I was scared of where he was going with that. Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a very different lifestyle. I also own a home outside of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We spend usually 2 weeks in Florida, 2 weeks in Tennessee, my wife and I. And it's just such a different lifestyle between both, and it's so shocking coming from Florida to Tennessee and then going back. It's just a beautiful area up here. I love it. I really do. And I'm originally from Boston. I never thought this lifestyle would appeal to me. I absolutely love it here.
Now, did you say your partner's name was Mad Dog Rodriguez?
I'm going, okay, who am I talking to here? Rocco, what is that?
So, my partner's name is Magdiel.
Oh, okay, just a little different. Okay, so now I was looking at your website, and you're talking about
green. Call him from now on, Mad Dog.
It just kind of ran together there, and I thought that's what I pulled out of it. I thought his name was Mad Dog. So,
Lord.
I was on the website, and I noticed that you were talking about green technology. And so now, other than being in the woods, what kind of green technology do you have out there at Saddlebrook?
Well, our homes are Energy Star certified, which to the layman means it's going to save you money on your electric bills.
There you go.
The appliances are highly rated. The way that the houses are built are extremely energy efficient. So the next question is, well, Rocco, what's the average electric bill out here? In the summer, it might be $100 a month if you're running your air conditioning morning, noon, and night. The simple reason is Tennessee has the third lowest electric cost in the country because of the Tennessee Valley Authority.
That makes a difference. Absolutely makes a difference. We've got another question from a listener.
Yes, from Fresno, California. Poor guy. Why buy in a development like Saddlebrook as opposed to buying in any other subdivision? How is this a better investment? Well, there you go. That's a good question.
Well, you know what? That's a good question. And the question on my part is simple. My family needs the money.
Okay. Wow, did we go over the edge on that one? Okay.
I think the real difference is when you compare the product and the cost and what you get. It's the old saying is the bang for the buck. I think that's the advantage. We've had some people come up here and say, you know what, we would rather have a custom-built log cabin at the top of a mountain range where we're 100 miles from nowhere. That isn't what we offer. I think when people retire at 55 and older, my wife doesn't want to be in the middle of nowhere. You also have to think when you retire that husband and wife have talked about, look, Charlie, if something happens to you, God forbid, and I'm left as a widow, I don't want to be 80 miles from nowhere. I want to be in a community that's got security. I don't have to mow the yard. I can lock up the house and go away for a month at a time and visit the kids and grandkids.
I think you need to look at all that. Don't you want to move 80 miles away from nowhere?
You know what? When I was younger, we had the log cabin in the woods when my kids were growing up. That just doesn't appeal to me any longer. And that's my personal opinion. It just doesn't.
Well, let's piggyback on our Fresno question here. So are people able to buy these? What if they don't want to live there, or they're not ready to retire yet and they just want to buy it? Can they rent them out? Is it a decent investment, or do you allow that?
You know what? I'm a little hesitant, honestly, to present this as an investment. Yes, the answer is you can rent them out. It has to be for a minimum of 6 months at a time. We don't want people coming in and out for weekend vacations because that's not what the community is. But if you built it and weren't ready to retire for 5 years, yes, you can rent it out. We'll rent it out for you, but we'll do a credit check first on the customer before we rent it. And if you say, look, I don't want any smokers renting my place, or I don't want any pets in the house, that's up to you. What's happening now is we have people that are building homes and they're moving to Tennessee, and the house won't be ready for 3 months, and they're looking for a place to rent. So we send them to some of our friends that are in the real estate business. But if you did wanted to do this and rent it out, you can. But I would suggest something different. I would suggest buy the lot first and don't build a house until you're ready to retire. I don't want to present this build a house and rent it out and make a profit, because that's really not what it was designed for. Although it would work, I would suggest not doing that.
Okay. So you don't have any restrictions in terms of, like, some new developments will have restrictions like, oh, no, you can't rent it out for the first X period of time, or only a certain percentage of homes in the community can be rentals. So you don't restrict that kind of a thing.
No, we don't do that. As a matter of fact, guys, we have a covenants, very common sense covenants. The only thing in there that I put in on a personal level was, several years ago I was watching television in Florida, and there was a retired military man put up a flagpole in front of his house in a gated community. And during the military, he lost a lot of friends, and the people living in the community forced him to take the flag down. I almost kicked out my own TV set. I've never been in the military. I thank God for our military guys. So the only covenant restriction that we have in my community is, you want to fly a flag, my guys will help you put the pole up, but it's got to be the U.S. flag.
Wow.
That's our restriction.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So, all right. So now, you mentioned earlier on in the show, you mentioned that you're already scoping up other developments. Are you gonna keep going on to the next one? I mean, this one.
Yeah.
How close to finishing out are you on Saddlebrook right now?
The land portion of Saddlebrook, we'll have sold out all the lots by November. Because, as I said, there's only 133 lots. We've already sold 40. And we're a new community. It started going so fast that we decided to now take the next step, which is going to be the real large one, which is 2,000 acres. And that's, as I say, closer to the city of Crossville. We're in negotiations for it now. It looks like it's going to happen, but until it happens, of course, it didn't happen.
Right.
But that's what we're looking at. You know what's funny, guys? We have a very hot product in a very dead market, if that makes any sense at all.
Oh yeah, it does.
The real estate market. If you've watched the stock market, the Lennars and the Pulte homes, you've seen that their stocks have started to rise pretty consistently. I'm not saying the real estate disaster is over, because it's not, but it's certainly slowing down. And now people are much more conscious of their homes, their real estate, and the key word today is downsizing. Who needs an 8,000 square foot home today when you're retired with 2 people? You don't. That's been the key.
Yeah, that's true. So the next project you see is sounds like much larger than what you're currently doing. How many homes are you thinking?
Well, that'll be about 2,000 homes. We try to average about 1 home per acre as far as density. By the time you put in the roads and the clubhouses and things, we think that's enough. I don't want to have, on 2,000 acres, if I put a sewer system in there, I could yield 5,000 houses. I really don't want to do that. I don't want the houses on top of each other. I don't want it to look like a cookie-cutter neighborhood. That's not what we do. That's not how we develop.
Okay. So I'm a retiree or soon-to-be retiree, and I'm thinking of buying in a retirement community. What 3 pieces of advice would you give me?
Well, if it was you personally, go somewhere else.
Ow! that hurt. Okay.
I'm sorry, but you walked into that.
Yes, true.
I would say, 3 pieces of advice. The first thing I would tell you to do is go look around. Don't buy in the first place that you look. That's the stupidest thing you can do. Do some cost comparison. The old saying is go kick the tires. Look around. There's a lot of offers out there. And pick something that suits you. If you are the kind of person that wants to live in a condo on the 15th floor on the ocean, great. If you're the kind of person that wants to, be in the woods and have that nice home kind of an atmosphere, then you'll come to a place like Saddlebrook. Mm-hmm. The second thing is I hate these adjustable rate loans. That just scares the holy heck out of me. I will not do that. And the last thing is, to me it's the most important, you want to be someplace where you have all the conveniences, because we're getting older. I just turned 59 years old, and I think about things today that I never thought of in my 40s. So you want
and you
to think
forget
about,
more than you learned.
Yes. So you want to be in a place where you're safe, you're comfortable, there's security. If something happens to you, your wife is still going to be okay. If you need to get to a hospital, as an example where we are, we're 7 minutes away from the Washington County Hospital. And as I said, just 5 minutes from the grocery stores. So those are the things that I look at. I look at safety first. Money is an issue. It comes and goes. But those are the things that I look at. Just be aware. The old saying is be an educated consumer. Walk in, kick the tires, know what you're buying. That makes the most sense to me.
It's interesting. We've talked about this before, and all three good sound advice thoughts. We've talked about the idea of making sure you go and you look at things. And it's not just, and you mentioned it earlier, don't just go and look at the housing development. You look at what's around there. Go out and spend some time in a little town and get a sense of whether this is a community you want to be a part of or not, because at the end of the day, it's a lifestyle. Would you agree?
Absolutely. One of the things that we say in our seminars that we do on Saturday morning is this.
Well, by the way, we didn't get our invite to that seminar. I want you to know. We could have broadcast live from your living room.
Next time, when we open up the next community, we'll bring you in. But what I was going to say is this. We say to these folks, look, you're not buying a $5 pair of socks here that if you make a mistake, you throw it in a drawer and forget it. You're moving. You're moving away from your family. You're moving away from your friends, your doctors. This is a big decision. So make it cautiously.
Yep. Folks, we're going to be right back with Rocco Toscano right after this quick message.